Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back again. On today's episode, I just kind of want to talk about just how I felt about the Switch 2 so far, because I was gone. Basically, all of the Switch 2 launch up until now. I just came back with the video talking about the Nate the Hate leaks that came out. So I never really got to give my opinion on things, and I know it's been a mixed bag of stuff. Some people feel like the Switch 2, has had a great launch. Some people feel like it has not had a great launch. Me personally, I feel like the launch was pretty good. I mean, we have Mario Kart World, which has been selling very well. Obviously, it was a bundle. With the whole $80 thing, maybe it would not have sold as well, or maybe it would have. People be online just saying anything. They just be talking. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, I'm not gonna buy this. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad about this." And then next thing you know, the next day they're posting a picture of them buying the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World. So I just take everything on the internet with a grain of salt these days. But where was I? So we had Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza was a really great game. Still is a really great game. I feel like more people should go ahead and try to play that. I know some people wanted the big Super Mario 3D game, new 3D Mario, which obviously we didn't get. But I do feel like Donkey Kong Bonanza was a great. I don't even want to call it a substitute. Substitute just sounds so disrespectful. Like Donkey Kong's just a lesser, IP or not as worthy or something like that. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a great game, made by the same team that made Odyssey. It's just awesome. It's a great game. I can't say anything bad about it. So that was a really good launch title. Now, it was a little bit before we got anything else. I may miss some games here and there as I talk about this, but eventually we did get the Kirby Air Riders, which I never got a chance to play. I haven't played it yet. I don't know if the demo is still up. If the demo is still up, I should give that a try, because that is something I have been wanting for a long time. But when you're an adult, you got things to buy. You have to make decisions, and sometimes you cannot get every game that comes out. It is what it is. So I've not played that one, but I did get to play Age of Imprisonment, which came out. That game I could honestly make a whole video about. I don't think that I will, just because I don't have much great things to say about it. I feel like the game was fun. It was fun as far as like just a good beat 'em up game. You know how those types of Warriors games go. But for some reason, and I talked about this with some other friends, it just really felt like, I don't know, like Age of Calamity drew me in and kept me in longer than Age of Imprisonment. And I've seen online some people like the story of Age of Imprisonment, but I just didn't like it either. I know a lot of people did not like the Age of Calamity story because it wasn't canon. But I just found it more entertaining for me personally, I guess. Age of Imprisonment, some of it just felt like a drag, and they didn't really discuss a lot of stuff that we wanted to hear about. So, like with Ganon, you just see him sitting on like a stone, and I'm like, okay, so is this stone in the sand? Is that the Gerudo Desert? Is that the town that y'all live in? Just a stone with some sand around? Like, where is the village? What's going on here? That wasn't really explained. The two witches that were with him, I was really hoping that they would get more story, a little bit more in depth. They kind of came and went. I can't even remember the name of all the characters anymore, but it has some pretty cool characters in it. But then they had a lot of like characters that just popped up out of nowhere. Like you just get a random mission, and all of a sudden you beat the mission, and it's like, oh, this person joined your party. You can now play as this person, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but sure, hey, come on down, join the party. But it just wasn't as, I don't know, like in Age of Calamity, I really liked playing as Impa. That was one of my favorite characters to play as, and I just feel like they didn't have any characters that were as unique. So I feel like some of the characters kind of blended in together. So that was my thing with that game. It was fun, but if I had to give it like a grade off the top of my head, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. Now I'm not gonna review all these games, but I've just wanted to talk about that for a while, so I had to get it off my chest. And then we got Metroid Prime 4, which that was definitely a situation. A lot of people were disappointed in it. I do feel like some of it was blown a little bit out of proportion. I I blame the guy from IGN. I don't remember what his name was, but I know after he put it out there about the whole McKinsey thing, and he posted the video about him saying like, when? The whole little cringe joke, then people took it overboard, only for us to play it, and then nobody really had that concern anymore because they saw it really wasn't that bad. And this is why I hate sometimes when certain things come out, because bad news spreads around, or even the fake news or whatever spreads around so much faster than the truth. So once people are already mad and they feel like, oh, this game is trash because such and such online said it was trash and the characters are annoying, then that just keeps spreading around. But now if you go and look on Twitter or anywhere and people talking about the game, nobody's talking about McKinsey anymore. They may talk about, you know, the open world, not the open area of it. They may say it's not as fun, not as revolutionary as like Prime 1 or something, but I don't know. I just felt like that whole thing was really stupid, and I didn't really pay it too much mind. I was like, I played games with cringe characters all the time, so that doesn't really bother me. As long as the game is fun, that's all I cared about. I just wanted to know, was the gameplay fun? Me personally, I had a great time with the game. I played it through twice. Actually, I didn't beat it fully the second time, I don't think, because I have this weird thing with games that are like, they have like a hard final boss. Sometimes I want to play the game, but then I get to like the final boss and I'm like, I don't feel like going through this again. I did the same thing with Metroid Dread. I played the hell out of it the first time, and then I went back and played it again, and then as soon as it was time to fight Ravenbeak, I was like, I don't feel like doing that. And I just kind of stopped the game. I was like, and it was stressful enough the first time fighting him. I don't know if I want to fight him again right now. I just wanted to do the whole Metroidvania aspect of it, you know, go around and get all my upgrades and stuff. I don't really feel like fighting the final boss right now. So I do that sometimes with video games, unfortunately. But yeah, so that was a really good game that came out. And then, you know, things have slowed down a bit as far as maybe bigger, more action heavy games go. Because within the new year, we got like the Switch 2 version of Animal Crossing. We got Pokopia. Tomodachi Life is coming out soon, which I kind of want to make a little video about that, talking about all the, you know, funny little memes that people have created. But outside of that, off the top of my head, I can't think of like a action heavy game. You know, there hasn't been a 3D Mario. There hasn't been a Legend of Zelda. Not that anybody should be expecting a Legend of Zelda, a new Legend of Zelda right now, because Tears of the Kingdom came out a little bit less than 3 years ago still. It'll be like 3 years, I think sometime in May. But yeah, so nobody should be expecting a new Zelda game. But, you know, basically what I'm saying is we haven't had like a big like action-y game. Like even Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave we still don't have a release date for that. We still have a release date for the Splatoon game. Or the Dusk Bloods, even though I know it's not first party. But you know what I'm trying to say. We haven't had like that big action-y game. We've been getting a lot of like life sim games, but it has been doing well in Nintendo's favor, I guess I'll say. Pokopia went off. Nobody expected Pokopia to do what it did. Obviously, it's a Pokemon game. Pokemon games are going to sell well all the time. They could make a Pokemon game where you just collect trash, and as long as you put in a whole bunch of cute little, you know, little monsters in there, people are going to buy the game. That's just how Pokemon goes. You know, that's never going to change. Pokemon's always going to sell, no matter what. But it just went so super crazy. I didn't expect people to do what they were doing in the game. I really thought it was just going to be like, well, I guess Minecraft is the same type of thing where you see like super insane builds in Minecraft. So yeah, it was basically the same, but I guess I just didn't see the potential because I don't play games like that. But then I go on and see people just like obsessing over it, and I was just like in awe about it. I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of crazy, but it actually almost wanted me to get the game. And I don't even really play games like those types of games like that. I do plan on playing Tomodachi Life. I downloaded the demo and made some Miis, and I'm on board right with everybody else. Like, please, I can't wait for the game. I can't wait for the game. I'm fiending for this game. Please drop the game. So that comes out this month. I can't remember the date, but I know it comes out mid-April. So yeah, it's been pretty chill, but obviously people want more excitement. People want to know where the Smash Bros, the Luigi's Mansions, you know, again, 3D Mario, because it has been a long time since Odyssey came out. It's been almost 10 years, which is really insane. You know, a lot of times they would have dropped probably a couple 3D Marios by now, which is weird. I don't know why they never dropped the Odyssey 2 or even like a Odyssey DLC or anything. That was the perfect game to drop DLC for. I will never understand why they didn't go in and give us any DLC for that game. But you never know what's going on with Nintendo. But either which way, y'all know what I'm trying to say. There are these big games that people may want to play. People are expecting. Maybe someone wants a new IP. Maybe people want old IPs to come back. Some people have ideas of like, it would be cool if they made a new Ice Climbers game or a new Kid Icarus game, since we haven't had a Kid Icarus game since Kid Icarus, I think it was called Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS. You know, there are a multitude of other games that they could be making. And I guess just the way I am, just for dealing with Nintendo for so long, I'm always just under the assumption that they're making these games. It's just the waiting process to get them. So, I guess my opinion overall is that it's been a pretty decent first year. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But I watched a few videos about release years for a multitude of consoles, and many consoles don't even come out with stuff even as decent as what Nintendo has come out with for Switch 2. You know, the Switch 1 launch was kind of an anomaly. I don't think there's ever been another time where they released a 3D Mario and a 3D Zelda both in the same year. That year was just that was just insane. To get Breath of the Wild and Odyssey in the same year was crazy. And then new IPs like ARMS, that was an insane year. Well, it was probably one of the best years in gaming as far as being a Nintendo fan. So that's how I feel about things so far. Now, as far as where I want them to go in the future, I mean, it seems like the future's already mapped out right now for the year, according to Nate the Hate. So it's almost hard now to say like, what do I want for the future? What do I want for Nintendo? What do I want Nintendo to do? When it feels like it's already mapped out now. So, I mean, obviously, I would say a Zelda, whether it would be a remake or. But before Nate the Hate said anything about Ocarina of Time, a remake coming out for Switch 2, I was just like, well, can we at least get some info on the next Zelda? Like, I'm not asking for too much. I'm not asking for a whole big blowout trailer or anything like that. I honestly would have been happy with, if anybody here remembers when they first showed off Breath of the Wild at E3, what was it, like E3 2013, I think? I'm pretty sure it was 2013, where even when Al Newman just came out, he talked about how they were changing up things with the next Zelda game. Even if it was just that, I would have been fine with that. Just tell me, you know, just remind me that the game is in the works, just because it just gets me excited. And, you know, maybe talk about a few things that you were learning, some conventions that you're going to change again. I know after Age of Imprisonment dropped, they did have that, he made some little remark about how, you know, he wished that they could have had the next Zelda game drop before Age of Imprisonment, because he just wanted to be first. You know, just a little jokey joke. And he was saying that there are some things that he's learned along the way as they've helped them create Age of Imprisonment. But nobody could really figure out what he may have been talking about. At first, I was like, maybe it's the whole like camaraderie thing, like the team moves and stuff, like being able to do cool stuff with NPCs. But then I remember that they already did that. That was already in Age of Imprisonment. That was already in Tears of the Kingdom anyway, where you had the, you know, the phantom versions of the new champions, or the sages rather, and you know, you could go over to them and they could do their little attacks and stuff. So I don't know what they're talking about, but I would like more information. I want to see more about the new Splatoon game, see if that's something I'm interested in. I'm not really a big multiplayer person, so I don't play the regular Splatoon games. But if it was something with more single player, or maybe you can do a little bit of multiplayer, I would have been down with that. Fortune's Weave, haven't played a Fire Emblem game in a long time. So pretty much everything he said is already what I wanted to see anyway. I can't think of anything else. Now, obviously, I'd like to see another Smash Brothers game, but I don't really see that for this year. Maybe next year at some point in time they can come out and say something like that. But Sakurai just released Kirby Air Riders. I know he likes to work himself to the bone, but I don't see him, you know, starting a Smash Brothers game immediately after dropping Kirby Air Riders. So I'm not entirely sure exactly where I want anything I can add to what Nate the Hate was saying. I just want more cool stuff, you know, more Switch 2 versions of games I already have. Like, why did they drop that update for Pikmin 4 but didn't drop a Switch 2 version of it? Like, I want to play the game again, but I want to play it in a higher resolution and a higher frame rate. So I just really don't understand why they dropped that. I really would like to replay the game again. Even if they did like a Switch 2 version of Age of Calamity, since I like that one more than Age of Imprisonment, I wouldn't mind playing that again. Yeah, that's all I really am asking for. You know, some more GameCube games would be cool. But if we're talking about just, you know, purely Switch 2 games, I'm actually cool with the lineup that Nate the 8 says for this year. If that turns out to be 100% true, perfectly fine with that. But I will say I have been enjoying the Switch 2. Right now, I kind of am ready for that direct. I was one of those people that was like, yeah, guys, you know, we'll be fine. But I am looking forward to the next big general direct, especially if that's what they plan to show this Ocarina of Time remake. Oh man, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, but I don't know, guys. Those are just my general thoughts about the Switch 2 launch and how everything has been. I know some people disagree with me because some people feel like it's just been horrible and they haven't dropped a new Smash for this game, but I also feel like people are just impatient. I know there are some other YouTubers here that are a little bit, you know, not a little bit, they're extremely impatient. They're demanding like 3D Marios and other types of games that they want. The 3D Mario is, like I said, is more understandable because it's been such a long time, but you know, if you expected Smash Brothers to drop in the first 2 months of the Switch 2, that's just not realistic. So we just have to practice a little bit of patience here. I know it's kind of annoying, but hey, I mean, what can you do? We can't rush the process. So hopefully soon we'll get more stuff to talk about. You know, more new game information and all types of stuff. I'm just looking forward to a really good way to end the first, you know, full year of Switch 2 and then start the, you know, second year of it. And I hope we just get a lot more cool stuff to see. You know, I'm a Nintendo fan and I'm always repping for my peoples, man. But anyway, thanks guys for listening and you guys have a great rest of your day.